Hey, ladies, welcome back to Bold Faith Moves, where we empower women to own their worth and get bold in faith, life, and business. If you've ever felt unworthy or stuck, this is your space to break free, unlock your potential, and build lasting habits for more energy, joy, and fulfillment. I am so excited about this episode because today I was driving to the gym. And if you want to know how to change your mindset, it's doing things like this. Right now, you're listening to a podcast that can help inspire you and motivate you to take action in your life. So when you get in a car or when you get in the shower or when you're even laying in bed, you can easily turn on a free podcast and learn. You can grow, and then you have to go take action. Because if you just listen to a podcast and don't take action, it's pointless. It's just in one ear and out the other. But when you get off the podcast and you remember who you are and you remember you have the strength within you, you go take action, even if it's little. Every single day, getting 1% better. But I was driving over to the gym and I was listening to Bedros Keuilian's podcast episode today. And he's amazing. If you guys don't listen to him, he is definitely tough love. His podcast is geared more towards men, but I absolutely love it because whenever he's talking to the men, I just switch it around and pretend like he's talking to women. And he does swear a lot, but his episodes are always like tough love, to the point, and it is the hard truths that like most people wouldn't say. So anyways, I'm listening to his podcast and I feel like they always like light a fire inside of me of just feeling like I'm unstoppable. And today he was talking about when you are taking action in your life and you are counting your macros and you are planning your workouts and you are pushing yourself in the gym, you are not getting more anxiety. You are not becoming more depressed. You are not becoming more overweight and more unhappy. And that's common sense, right? Like we all know that. But how often do we start to gain weight or we start looking in the mirror and we're hating ourselves and hating our body, but we do literally nothing? Literally zero things change in our life. And we continue to just look in the mirror and feel like crap every single day instead of reminding ourselves that, hey, maybe you gained 10 pounds. Maybe you gained 50 pounds. Maybe you have not been taking care of yourself, but how are you going to go take action so that it starts to change? And it's not going to be easy. It's going to take consistency over time. Like, I was talking to a client, yesterday doing a client call. And I was telling her that you have to not only commit to yourself and you have to understand why it's important to you and why you're doing this, but you also have to keep that commitment. Because every time that you don't keep a commitment to yourself, you tell your brain that you can't do it. And so when you go start that fitness journey, if you have always failed at the fitness journey and you've always gained the weight back, you instantly tell yourself, well, you're not going to stick to it. So that first day that you miss, you tell yourself you can't do this, or fitting a new schedule into your everyday life, you're like, "Oh, nope, you can't do this. You overslept this week." And it's like, "No, you are becoming a new version of yourself." The biggest thing I want you to be remembering is you have all of the strength within inside yourself to be the best version of yourself, to be a version of yourself that is unstoppable, to be a version of yourself that is powerful, to be a version of yourself that is worthy and that is enough and that walks into a room feeling so damn confident and proud. And that comes from keeping commitments to yourself. And that fire inside you comes from showing up for yourself. My life doesn't get better by chance. I don't get closer to my dreams or to my goals by not taking care of myself. Everything that I have done in my life, everything that I have improved in my life, it has all stemmed from the fact that I started taking ownership in who I was. I started prioritizing time for myself, my workouts, the food I was putting into my body, the way I fueled, the way I slept, minus the fact that we're in a nursing season and I don't sleep at all right now. If you're a mom and you are nursing and doing every wake up with your kids, you know that is a season that is amazing and special and goes way too fast, but it is also a season that can be very exhausting. but you still stay committed. And even right now, you might be in a busy season, whether you're a nursing mom or you're a mom that has a million activities with your kids right now. But every single time that you are in these busy seasons, you have to say, I still matter. I still matter. Because in order to get through all of the activities with my kids, in order to be able to pull myself together for the days of homeschooling and be the best mom I can be, I have to take that time for myself. And so do you. And if you want to know how to be your strongest self, it is taking time for you. Because when you can't even take care of yourself and show yourself love and show yourself compassion and show yourself what you're capable of, you can't go into the world and fight for your goals. You're dreaming probably very small. Your limitations of what you can do in business, of what you can do in fitness, of what you can go out and just do in this freaking one life that you have to live is probably so tiny right now. And I know that because that was me. And going back to when years ago, it was over 10 years ago. I was applying for jobs and couldn't get hired. It was when the market was like crashing. And it might have even been over 10 years. But either way, it was like this job that I wasn't even qualified for. It was on a computer working like 8 to 5. But for me, it was a salary job. It was only $30,000 a year. And I was like, well, it's a salary job. I can drop my daughter off at school. Like, this is going to be the best thing ever. And the reality is for me, that's because I didn't know how to dream or set goals. I was thinking this $30,000 a year cap out job was my dream job, that I would be in an office 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, but I would have my weekends off and I would have my nights off. But that's because I was bartending and serving. So like for me, that was a total, 180. Like I wouldn't be working these late nights. I wouldn't be working every weekend. But at the same time, how sad is it that that girl, that mom thought for her to get a $30,000 a year job working 40 hours a week was it? That was literally my goal. Like I cried real tears for lots of days when I found out it was down to me and one other person. She was way more qualified than I ever was. But it was down to me and her, and she got the job after 3 interviews. And so I cried. Like I was seriously devastated. And it's crazy to think back about and see that like that's who I was. But I really believe that we stop dreaming. When we grow up and we become adults, we start to realize like life is freaking expensive. And all of a sudden, you stop having dreams and goals because you just feel like any salary job is okay or any job is it, and you limit what you're actually able to do and you count yourself out. If you guys have been here, you know a big goal of mine is growing my speaking business, and that is not something that happens overnight. And I can tell you there's probably tons of people who give up during the process because it is a process. It is a journey and a follow-up journey and a reach out journey, and it is something that you constantly are working at, and it takes a while to get it moving and off the ground. But what is your big dream? Like, what right now, if I were to ask you, what's your big dream for 2025? Or in 10 years, where do you want to be? What would your answer be? Have you really sat down and thought about what you want your life to look like? If it was the most fulfilled life that you could have, what would that life look like? What would you be doing? If you could be working your dream job, what is that job? Is it working at an office? Is it working nights? Is it working from home? Like, what would you be doing? Is it owning your own company? Is it playing in a band? What would your dream job be? Because the reality is you can do it. What if you work your butt off to get there? It's the same thing as a fitness journey. It is staying committed to something. So often we think like a fitness journey's here and a business opportunity's here and our family's over here and all of these things, right? And they're all separate. But what's the same thing in every single one of them is that no matter if it's your marriage or a business opportunity that you have or a fitness journey that you're on, you have to know the goal you're going after. You have to dream big, without believing. You have to know that, hey, who you are today is not who you're going to be when you get that job, or who you are today is not who you're going to be when you lose the 50 pounds. But you have to be willing to build the consistent habits and stay committed. You have to be willing to say that you are going to show up when it's not easy, that you are showing up in the hard seasons, that you're not going to say, well, life is really hard right now, or life is really busy, because it is easy to say that. But here's the thing, everyone that's on a fitness journey, no one's just sitting back like on their couch, like, hey, this is the easiest thing ever. No, I have days I freaking don't want to work out. I have days where I eat crap and then I feel like crap and I'm like, awesome. Am I at a point in my life that I know the benefits of working out for my mental health? Am I at a point in my life that I know pushing through a workout, how much better I'm going to feel after? Am I at a point in my life that I know when I fuel my body the right way, how my energy is, how my sleep is, how much I feel better and feel more capable? 100% yes. That doesn't mean I always have motivation to show up. And you need to know that too. In the beginning, when you're starting something new, the best thing you can do is keep the commitment to yourself. Because keeping that commitment to yourself, it does not only get you to your goal that you want, whether it takes a year, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, it gets you to that goal, but it also builds mental strength every single day. Because right now, if you're someone who has failed at every fitness journey, when you go to start that fitness journey, you automatically told yourself you're going to fail. And you have to change your brain and say, not this time. This time, I'm pulling from the strength within. This time, I am showing up because I am capable and I know that I can do this. This time, I'm showing up when it's not easy. This time, I'm showing up with a different mindset. This time, I'm showing up prepared that life is going to throw things at me, but I am going to fight for who I want to become. Because I can tell you, over the last 10 years of being on a fitness and health industry, I've gone through ups and downs, whether in marriage, with kids, with business, with all of the things. I mean, you guys know a couple months ago, I lost my entire multi-six-figure business that I had built, and over 10 years. Like, that could have made me into a spiral of depression, right? It could have put me in a spot that felt so paralyzing. And if I'm being honest, there were days that felt paralyzing, where I just felt like I lost my identity. But I knew that I had to show up for the workouts, whether I wanted to or not. I knew that's going to pull me out from getting extremely depressed, from feeling extremely lonely, from feeling like a complete failure. And you might have to have that chat with yourself right now. Where are you at in your current state of mind that you might need to say, you know what? I'm not doing the commitment I said because I do feel like a failure. I'm not showing up in the way I want to because I'm not creating the habits and sticking with them. I'm the one telling myself, I can't do this. I'm the one telling myself, well, I don't need to set my alarm clock early. I'm the one telling myself, I'm not a morning person. I'm the one telling myself, I don't have time. You will validate every single thing that you tell yourself. Your brain will show you all of the reasons when you start telling yourself that. So you have to be careful of what goes into your brain. And in order to change your brain, you have to change your habits. And you have to rewire your brain as the girl who shows up, the girl who pulls from the strength within. And God has given it to every single one of us, that we are strong, that even in our weakest moments, we have God and that we have Him to carry us through. We don't have to be qualified. He qualifies us. So whatever that thing is that you're stuck on right now, ask yourself, are you really keeping the habits and commitments you made? Or are you just falling back on that version of yourself that you don't believe in? That version of yourself like that has failed a million times. This is coming from a place of love because I was her. My biggest dream was a $30,000 a year job, 40 hours a week. And that was my dream because I didn't think I was worthy or capable of anything else. I wasn't the girl sticking to a fitness journey. I wasn't the girl that looked in the mirror and was confident. I was the girl that walked into a party and would have as many drinks as possible to feel comfortable because otherwise I felt completely ashamed of who I was. and completely like I was not enough and completely burnt out. You guys, I know how it feels to be on the end of no feeling like you're a failure, of feeling like everyone's life is better than yours, right? And of feeling like everyone's life is easier than yours. I get it because I have been there. And that's why I launched this podcast was because I wanted to help the moms that are inside their homes, not dreaming and not setting goals, but more importantly, not feeling like they're enough, not feeling like you're worthy, not feeling like you matter, because I know how lonely that side is. And I don't want that for anyone. And I don't want that for the next generation. I want us to be able to help our kids know that they are worthy and know that they are enough. And it starts with us. Your kids are going to learn from your habits. And you can be teaching them all the wrong habits, but today can be your new day of teaching them the right habits. You can change everything when you decide that every single day you're going to tell yourself that you have the strength within and that you're going to start to believe it. And maybe at first you're like, no, if I tell myself that I have the strength within, I don't believe that because I have failed at this and I have done this that's horrible and this and that. But then here's what I want you to tell yourself. I love that I'm learning to find my strength within. Because when you say it that way, you're just reminding yourself it's a work in progress. You're learning to feel strong. You're learning how to feel your body. You're learning how to dream bigger. You're learning how to believe you were made for more. And we aren't taught those things in school. In high school and college, you're not taught to really dream huge and go do whatever you want to do. We only tell that to little kids, right? But what if you started thinking that way again? And I want to use myself as an example because with that $30,000 a year job, I went on to build a multi six figure business instead. And right now, I'm growing a speaking business that eventually I know will be something that is exactly what I want it to be. But I know it's not happening overnight. And so I want you to think about what your goals are and how are you working at them in fitness and health? What are the goals you're working towards in marriage? What are the goals you're working towards in your life that make you feel on fire? Because when you feel your strongest self, you feel a million times better and it stops being about fitness and health. And instead, it starts being something that lights a fire inside you for the life that you are living. And that's when it becomes so freaking cool. So I hope that this episode helps you. And I hope that you really today take time to think about the commitments you are making to yourself. And are you holding yourself back? Are you telling yourself your anxiety is so bad, but instead of going and taking action, you're sitting back. You're just turning on more crap TV. You're eating more crap. You guys, a lot of the times I get anxiety if I drink too much coffee. I get anxiety when I'm not taking action. I get anxiety too. And I used to have it where it felt so overwhelming. But the truth is you can change that. And a lot of times with anxiety, with depression, you have to be willing to ask yourself, are you doing the things that you should be doing daily to move you out of it, to help you? And I'm not against medication by any means and know that people, if you're on it, that's okay and don't feel bad about it. But I would be asking yourself, are you getting in movement? Are you getting in sunlight? Are you fueling your body with nutrition and whole foods that make you feel good? Are you focusing on sleep? Are you turning your screens off more often? Like, are you doing all of these things? Or are we just accepting mental health is horrible, anxiety is horrible, depression's horrible, everyone's overweight, no one takes care of themselves, no one has time? Like, all of these things, are we just accepting that? Or are we being a community of women that are getting bold, that are changing their freaking life and believing you have the strength within you? I hope this episode helps you this week. I hope you start thinking about your goals and dreaming bigger and remembering that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. Your marriage goals, your family goals, your life goals, your business goals, all of it. Do the work, keep the commitment, build the habits that make you become the strongest version of yourself. But never forget that the strength is within inside you and you have to do the work on yourself in order to get to the place where you are going to find the most joy. I hope that you are having an amazing start to your week. And if you are needing extra accountability, make sure you check the show notes and fill out the waitlist form to jump in my next round. I run a 6-week round, which is like a 6-week course where we deep dive into nutrition. You have personalized macros, you have your workouts, and you are literally dialed in a community of women growing together. But it is 6 weeks of you really understanding your body. No more fad diets, no more cutting carbs, no more ups and downs. Like, let's do the real work. Let's learn what our body really needs individually. And then let's freaking crush this year. I hope you guys have a great week. If you have time, please share this episode and send it to a mom friend who might be needing it too, because I want this to help as many women as they can. And I hope that it helped you today.